Hello, this is just going to be a quick tutorial on the new strat for Dollhouse. Before I go any further, just a quick spoiler warning. This strat involves the constellation room in Dollhouse. If you haven't found that yourself casually and you would like to without it being spoiled, then please go no further in this video until you've done so. With that out of the way, I'll just explain what this strat is. As of making this video, this is the fastest strat for Dollhouse when no restrictions are applied. So it's currently fastest in any percent, but only works on the modern patch. Of course, any percent full game is normally run on Legacy, but Legacy doesn't have the constellation rooms, so this strat is not possible. This strat is also valid for Warpless, Modern and Launchless, as well as potentially any other glitched category. I'm going to be using practice mod to record this video, so you can see my position numbers and such, and that will also allow me to use unlimited render distance and no clip and things to explain things a bit more clearly. Now this strat can roughly be broken down into three parts. There's getting out of bounds using the portal slide technique, navigating to the position out of bounds where we need to be using what I like to call a wall climb, and then just finishing out by obtaining the final Dollhouse. I'll start by explaining the portal slide. So the way this works is we're going to be using the entryway to this constellation room. Now this room and the theatre room aren't physically connected. As you can see, there's nothing actually on the other side of this doorway. It uses the built-in portal mechanic of the game to just teleport you to the position in the world where you need to be once you pass through this doorway. What this means though is that if we can bypass this trigger, we'll just clip onto the area out of bounds on the other side of this doorway. So to do this, position yourself right just barely into the hallway. So line up along this line where the carpet ends and the black hallway begins. Go right here, and now you're aiming at the black line here, right where it meets the door, but slightly right of that line, and start holding forwards. Now I clipped out pretty much straight away here, but you won't always. What you want to do is alternate your mouse between being on the left and the right side, but very slowly, kind of this movement. And you'll know as soon as you've clipped out, because the texture over in this black part will change. You'll see some light kind of bleeding through. This might be difficult to see if your monitor's brightness is lower. Mine is set quite high for Blind Maze, and this may also be different on different graphic settings. I have my graphic settings on the minimum, so mess around with that if you're finding it difficult to tell when you've actually clipped out. Apart from that, if you're sliding too far over to the right, you can keep yourself centered using A and D as long as you just keep holding forwards. And then once you've got the clip out, you can move on to the next part of the strategy, which is the wall climb. You need to turn around so you're facing over this way, and then start moving out to the left. Hold backwards at any point really, just to make sure that you're up against this wall. Get as close to it as you can. Now what we're going to be doing is getting stuck in a wall and jumping, and then the game will kind of keep giving us vertical velocity until we're out the top of the wall, not stuck anymore. And that's so we can get on top of this wall here, ready for the next part of this strat. So to do this, you need to be stood in a pretty precise position. If you keep tapping left here to carefully edge your way out, you'll see this doorway here, down in this room down here. So the way you want to position this is so that you can just about see past the corner here, and the rest of it is blocked by the floor of the room. So about this much should be showing, and as long as you get into that position, this should work. Again, you can see the numbers on my practice mod display there, so if that's unclear and you want to check that you're in the right position, you can compare the numbers if you're also using practice mod. Now, aside from the positioning, you need to be facing roughly the right angle. This isn't as precise, but I line up right around the intersection of this little piece of geometry sticking out here and the floor of the room. And then to actually execute this part of the strat, you want to hold jump, and then around the peak of your jump, start holding forwards. I didn't make it the first time, so let me try again. This isn't the most consistent strat. If you get the positioning and the angle right, it should work most of the time, but not every time. So yeah, like that. Once I got to the top of the wall, I was able to move forwards and drop down onto this wall here. You want to position kind of in the middle of this corner and the start of this shadow. This will work from anywhere along the wall, but if you need to be, but lining up in the same position every time will be helpful, so that your lineup for the next part will stay the same. Now what we're going to be doing is grabbing the dollhouse that you normally grab from the last room of the level dollhouse, but we're going to grab it from here. Now you can see that when I aim over here, my cursor lights up and I can grab something. If I turn on unlimited render distance, you'll see that this is the room at the very end of the level is loaded, but normally it's just not visible. So that means that you can, from even this far away, grab the dollhouse. It's just a fairly precise position to line up, and it's just in the void with no kind of visual indicator. So if you're standing in about the same place every time, then you can use the surrounding geometry as a reference. So for example, it's just to the right of the corner of this light here, and up. Vertically, it's roughly around where this gradient from yellow to white ends. So once you've lined it up, grab the dollhouse. Now you want to step back in bounds, but avoid this line that you see here, because if you step onto that, it will bounce you up in the air. So if you just step past that before you drop down, then you should be fine. Now it's just as simple as drop resizing the dollhouse as normal and heading to the elevator to finish the level. Hope that was helpful to somebody. Thanks for watching.